Okay. Well, I lost my followers that were part of this. Sorry, I lost some of my connection, I guess, and so it kicked me out. Okay, Erica's back. A few other people. Sorry guys, if you just joined, I lost connection, so it stopped the video, but I did share it directly to my story, and I'll save it and make sure everything gets uploaded correctly. So we're just gonna pick up right where we left off because that was not very fun. Okay, so we're back to the J. Let's just do one more for good measure. This one's a little bit messy. Oh, I don't think that Alex is back. She's gonna be sad. If anyone knows Alex personally, Liz, I think you're here, text her and tell her to join. Okay, so this J looks a little bit different. You can see because I kind of shaded up my upstroke. That's not always bad. There, Alex is here. Good. So really, again, everything varies. There's really no right or wrong way. You know, people will send me different things and be like, look, I started hand lettering. And I'm like, that's awesome. Like, even if it's not exactly, I guess, what the rules would be, it doesn't matter. It's all just what you make it. All right. 2 more letters. We have a P and then we have a T. So we're going to do a P. P's I also struggle with sometimes because I just think they get so loopy. And sometimes I think I don't really like my style of P. But the way I write this letter. So I usually kind of shade on the outside of the first loop and then I come down on the inside of the bottom loop. I don't know. If you guys have a better way, feel free to share because I don't love the way I write this, but it works. Some people don't do a loop at the top or the bottom at all. And so in that case, you literally would just have kind of this straight line and you're just going to kind of go like that. Just go right down the line and then you shade the outside of the loop. So we'll do another one just because this can be a little bit tricky. Okay, so there's a P. I'll do one more where it's not shaded. For when I'm writing a P, I really do try to, with this little circle part, I try to do the shading on the very outside, just so that it doesn't cut off the space in this loop when I bring my pen back around. So that's just kind of a minor thing that I just keep in mind. But now let's move on to a T. T's are very easy. I think that's why I forgot it on the list or something because it's literally just this. You can cross your T before or after. I actually always cross mine after, so that was weird that I just did it the other way. But you can really do it anyway. You can have the little transition part. I guess that looks a little bit weird without anything else before it, but I guess if you wrote like at, then it would be fine. And sometimes I vary which way I write, which way I cross it. So whether I bring my pen up and then down, so that it's kind of a little bit of a whimsical crossing of the T, or I guess I'll bring it a little bit farther down. Or sometimes I'll bring my pen down first and kind of go the opposite way. So if you compare the way I cross my T here versus here. It's just a little bit different. So really just depends on how I'm feeling that day or the style that I want. But I'll just do one more T where it's not shaded. And I would say just the one thing that I would recommend is just being consistent. So if you're writing a quote or a Bible verse or something like that, then I would just encourage you to be consistent in the way that you cross your T's. So if you are going to go kind of this more soft cross, then that's fine. Or if you want to make it a little bit more exaggerated like I did here in the opposite direction, that's fine too. So I think that we covered all the letters. Let me just double check. A, B, C, D. We didn't do E. F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q. I didn't show you Q, but Q you can apply the rules to. Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Okay, so I said we didn't do an E, okay? So let's just finish that up. We'll need that to write hello for our card to our friends. So I kind of make it a little whimsical by giving just a little bit of a change in direction to the pen at the beginning, and then you just shade on the downstrokes, okay? And again, you can vary how thick you write it. You can go back over the other parts of the letter to make it thicker. It really is up to you. If you're new to this video and you haven't told me where you're from yet, go ahead and introduce yourself in the comments, because I just want to know where you're from. I'm from Illinois, so I'm just trying to see who's all here. So here I didn't really shade it. You can see that I drew the shading, kind of the margin, a little bit closer to the actual letter, so it just gives it a little bit of a different look to it, but there's not as much space in between like when I wrote this J or even in the P or the S. So yeah, but an E really, it's, I mean, basically like a small L. So if you know how to write an L, you know how to write an E. Alrighty, well that is all for the alphabet. We made it through the whole alphabet, you guys. So now I want us to practice. If you don't have any questions about this, I'm actually gonna just check. You can see me while I talk. Now we're going to just change gears and practice writing the word hello. So that's gonna be your guys' finished product from coming to this little virtual class, is we're gonna write that, so then you can fold up a piece of paper, or if you have any blank pieces of paper, then you can just write that on a card at home and send it out to a friend or a family member that you won't be able to see due to quarantine. What a crazy time to be alive, right? So I'm gonna switch over. So if you want to just stay on the piece of paper that you have going, that's totally fine. Or if you want a new one, we won't actually make the card yet. We're just going to practice writing it a few times, and then we'll get going, okay? So go ahead in your notebook on your piece of paper, just go ahead and write the word hello. I really like those simple greeting cards where it just says like, hey, or hello. So I think it'd make a really cute little greeting card. So I just wrote hello in the style that I typically write. I was talking while I did this, so it's a little bit shaky, but I like to vary kind of the distance that I let each letter go, or just the height that they're written at. So as you can see, I kind of just alter, the H kind of went down, and then the E comes back up, the L comes down, then the second L, I stopped it so it didn't go down as far, and the O. So I kind of just alternate every other letter of which one comes down and which one just kind of stays up. So that's just something I like to do. You can stick with it being really simple if you want to. So I'll write also an example if you were not to alter that or kind of mess with the height. This would be more typical. And I do lift my pen sometimes. So there you go. So now we just need to shade it. So I'm actually going to start with this one just because that's probably what most of yours look like. What I did for this first example was a little bit more advanced, but either way works. Hi Gretchen, my sister. Are you actually practicing this or are you laughing at me at home? So I'm just going on all the downstrokes. I oftentimes actually shade from right to left. I do use pens that don't really smear, but because I'm left-handed, if I use this style where I'm shading every letter, then I actually go backwards to prevent any smearing of the ink. But most of my pens are decent quality, so they don't smear. Oh, also, if any of you guys are left-handed, let me know, because it's a whole different world sometimes. And I'm left-handed, so it's not too often that you get to have someone teach you something like this from a left-handed perspective. Okay, so I am going to shade some of this, the little loop at the O. If you guys need to refer back to some of the letters we just practiced, feel free. Okay, so we're almost done here. Let me know if I'm going way too fast. So I am going to have you just practice one more writing the word hello. So there you go. I'm just going to flip to a new page. Anyone have any questions so far? Or thus far? Or I'm probably nearing the end. I just have a few more things I want to touch on, but if you're doing well, just keep on going. If you're working at it still, that's all right. It takes some time. So again, I did vary, let me adjust that. I did vary some of just the height and the depth that I let each letter go to. Your hand might be really starting to cramp at this point. Feel free to just take a little bit of a break. You can pick up right where you left off. You don't really have to stick with my speed. So my goal with this class was to just give you guys something new that you can try at home and something new that you can just practice, and really just kind of give you the basics of what you need to know in order to write like this. And I really think just the fundamental basics of shading on the downstroke and just keeping it normal on the upstroke is the key takeaway. So if you are, I know one of you guys said that you want to be able to, maybe like do this for weddings or being able to, write a nice signature. You can really apply this to anything once you understand those principles.